Hey, Battle Built here with another video, and today we're getting into our first set of Master League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. Yes, you heard that right. We have entered the portion of the season where we have transitioned from Ultra League to Master League, and I really just enjoy the Premier Cup version of Master League more than the regular version, but I have powered up some legendary Pokemon, so you will see some videos on regular Master League also. But this is my very first set, and I'm going back to the team that got me to rank 10 last season. That team consisted of Garchomp, Snorlax, and Metagross. We'll talk more about the team as we get into the battles, but this is going to be the very first set of battles that I did for this season that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So if you're excited for that, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the battles. Based on the fact that there haven't been too many updates that have affected Master League Pokemon, this same team that I'm running should grant me the same success it did last season. The two major changes that you should expect in Premier Cup specifically is more play from Mamoswine because of the Powder Snow buff, and a little bit more play from Gyarados, even though it did have good play last season, just because of the fact that now it has Aqua Tail, and that's a much cheaper energy charge move. So, getting to this first match, we actually went to an Empoleon, which I think is a pretty good pick for Master Premier, but I didn't really see it too much last season. I tried to make it work for a little bit, kind of gave up when I couldn't find success, but props to this trainer for trying it out. They swap into a Gyarados, and I have to go into my Snorlax. It's my only real counter for Gyarados, and you can see these Gyarados getting to charge moves a lot quicker already because it's going for the Aqua Tail. This will do good chip damage, but between the Dragon Breaths and how quickly they get to the Aqua Tails, really starts to eat away at Snorlax's health. I'm going to go for a Body Slam, and because I already committed a shield to my Garchomp in that lead matchup between the Empoleon and my Garchomp, I am not going to commit a shield against this Gyarados whatsoever. I don't want to be down 2 shields to no shields, especially when these are only Aqua Tails coming through. So I don't shield that. I'm going for another Body Slam here. We're going to see if we'll get my opponent's first shield or not. They're probably thinking the same thing. These Body Slams don't hurt enough to shield, so they didn't shield that either. And I know they're going to outpace me to the next charge move, so I'm going to let this go through, let my Snorlax go down, and I'm going to bring in my Metagross here to try and farm down their Gyarados. So that's the plan. I bring in my Metagross, and then instead of letting their Gyarados go down, they swap into their Empoleon, so I swap back into Garchomp with the Sand Tomb loaded, and this will deal super effective damage because of Empoleon Steel typing, and it gets the Empoleon in the red, and I'm really just hoping I can Mud Shot down right before they get a Hydro Cannon off, so that worked out nicely. The Gyarados comes in, I Mud Shot that down also. They still have shield advantage, but their last Pokemon is going to be a Metagross, and it will be a Shadow Metagross at that. My Garchomp is pretty low. I'm pretty worried about this match, but my opponent actually decided to quit, and I don't know if that was the right play on their part. I think they still had a win condition considering they had 2 shields. My Garchomp was low, and my only other Pokemon was Metagross, but they wanted to give me my first match of Season 3 Master League, so I'll take it. Getting into the second match of the set here, going up against Meshach 2000. Let's see what the leads are going to be. I've got my Garchomp on their Rhyperior. So this is a pretty positive lead for my Garchomp. I could deal super effective damage with the Sand Tombs, but most Rhyperiors don't really shield my Garchomp's charge moves for whatever reason, so I just go straight for the Outrage to deal as much damage as possible and not have to really worry about that Rhyperior later. What you'll also notice is this Rhyperior is dealing Smackdown, so my Garchomp likes this matchup even more. They're going for a charge move here, and because they let that Outrage go through, I'm fully expecting this to be a superpower, like it is, and then they're probably going to dip into their own Snorlax. So I almost went to swap, and I remember last season what I prefer to do is get the Sand Tomb off and then bring in my Snorlax, so it has a little bit of an advantage in that mirror match. But what you'll notice is by the time I got to the Sand Tomb, we actually CMP tied, and they're going to actually output their energy through this Body Slam, and my Garchomp will barely survive. We can't see the exact health because of that little visual glitch because of the fact that I swapped, but now I'm bringing in my Snorlax, and I'm just going to spam as many Body Slams as possible. What you'll notice is my Snorlax is running Outrage alongside Body Slam. Now, I think in Master Premier, almost every potential moveset for Snorlax, whether it's Body Slam and something else, is pretty usable. Body Slam Earthquake definitely has play. Body Slam Superpower. Body Slam Skull Bash. Thank you FP Sticks for making that one popular. Those definitely all have play. Also, I run Body Slam and Outrage because of the amount of Dragonites that are out there. I want to make sure I have a little something extra from my Snorlax to potentially flip that Dragonite matchup, and it has worked in the past season. We'll see if it works throughout the rest of this set. They're going for another charge move. It ends up being another Body Slam, but because of the fact that I debuffed them, and I think the Skull Bash raises defense by 2, they're not really too buffed on defense at the moment, so that Body Slam will go through, take out their Snorlax. I'll keep Switch Advantage. They bring in the Rhyperior, and I'm just hoping to get to a Body Slam here before they're able to farm me down. They are committing to the farm down, so they're going to shield this Body Slam when it goes through. The shield's right there. So I swap into my Garchomp to kind of stress out their Rhyperior and try to force them to throw their energy to make them think my Garchomp had energy to finish off that Rhyperior. So I get their energy. They superpowered my Garchomp. I bring in my Metagross to try and farm down, and what looks like a positive situation ends up not being a positive situation, unfortunately. I have a 2 shield to 1 shield advantage, but Gyarados has a really good matchup against Metagross, especially because of the fact that their Gyarados is running Waterfall. I'm going to go for a Meteor Mash here. It gets their first shield, but unfortunately the second Meteor Mash that I have pretty much loaded is not going to do enough damage to help me here. So they get off another Aqua Tail. I'm now going for another Meteor Mash with CMP tie, and that's also the improvement that Gyarados got because of Aqua Tail. They're spamming my Metagross a lot quicker, and if they were running Crunch or they had the old moveset, they really would have had to commit to a Waterfall down to win this out, and I probably could have won this match if they didn't have Aqua Tail. So I'm trying to Bullet Punch down, I'm trying to pull off a Sack Swap there. Unfortunately, they didn't fall for the Sack Swap, and now they're going to deal the finishing blow through this Aqua Tail, and they'll take the second match of the set. Really well played on their part. My only win condition there was successfully pulling off that Sack Swap. Getting into the third match of the set, we're going up against Ron 2020. He's a highly skilled trainer. I see his name on leaderboards a lot, so this should definitely be a good match. And I lose lead hard. So I have a Garchomp on Togekiss lead here. Not a positive situation for me, so I decided to save swap into Snorlax. That was always my play when I ran to that lead last season. And then they swap and they bring in their own Garchomp. Sometimes I'd expect a Dragonite, but Garchomp, the same logic works here. Go for the Outrage so I can try and flip Switch Advantage. I land the Outrage, get it in the yellow, which is huge, and now what I really need to do is just not get baited and land Body Slam so win Switch back. But they end up not trying to bait me. They go for their own Outrage. Really well played on his part. If I would have shielded that, I definitely could have flipped Switch there. But unfortunately, I was expecting a bait, and I ended up letting that go through. I go for the Body Slam, get their shield, and he's going to Mud Shot me, but go for the Sand Tomb because he wants to make sure he keeps Switch Advantage. I make a very risky play here, and I decide to shield this Sand Tomb, and I just need to hope that I don't get Mud Shot down before I'm able to get to this Body Slam. So I just barely survive with like 1 HP. I go for the Body Slam, so either give me Switch or get their last shield. It gets their last shield, which I'm kind of okay with here, but I know that Garchomp has energy, so I gotta go into Metagross because I don't want to use my last shield yet. So I'm going to go into Metagross. They're going to throw their charge move right away. I guess he just wanted to deal as much damage as possible because what you're going to notice is he doesn't go for the Sand Tomb. He just goes for the Outrage. It was a really good play on his part. I swap in my Garchomp to try and Mud Shot down. He comes back in with a Togekiss, which I don't really mind here because honestly, even if I left in my Metagross against his Garchomp and I was able to farm down, he would have brought in his last Pokemon and my Garchomp still would have been lined up with the Togekiss. So what my plan here is to debuff this Togekiss as much as I possibly can and then hope that I can farm it down. But you'll notice he stopped attacking because he's trying to wait out the switch timer. I thought it might have been lag, but you'll notice soon another charm goes through, and because he's double debuffed, I'm just going to go for the Outrage here, and this will do a decent chunk because of the fact that it's double debuff from the Sand Tombs, and now the Togekiss will charm me down. And because I got the Togekiss's health so low, they have to go for the Flamethrower here, so I'm going to shield this and hope that his switch timer's not up and I'm able to Bullet Punch the Togekiss down. And a lot of other Pokemon my Metagross could have beaten in this zero shield situation. Snorlax was not one of them. We did get a little bit of lag. He's going for a charge move here. It's going to end up being a superpower, which I will survive, but even a debuffed Snorlax, the way it is right now, when I go for this Meteor Mash, is not going to do enough damage to take care of the opponent's Snorlax. Why do I feel like I said Snorlax twice? A debuffed Meteor Mash is not going to do enough to my opponent's Snorlax. I don't know what I just said, but regardless, I ended up losing that. Metagross could have beaten a lot of other things, unfortunately not Snorlax there. 1 and 2 in the set right now. It's looking like my old team might not be working in this new season, but I don't think it's, well, I guess the Gyaradoses, the updated Gyarados are giving my team a bit of a hard time, but also, I had sets like these where I started off weak or had a negative set last season with this team. It's just overall, I did win more than I lost. And now this Dragonite lead is the prime reason why the Snorlax has Outrage, but my opponent decides to swap into their Swampert. I overcharged a bit. I'm hoping they might think that I'm going for a bigger move than I'm going for, so I'm hoping to get a shield here. I end up getting my opponent's first shield, which works nicely, and then I'm going to overfarm again to try and maybe threaten that second shield. Snorlax can handle quite a few Hydro Cannons from Swampert. So that first one comes through. I know I can tank another one, so even though he had 2 locked up, I have no problem letting both of them go through and not giving up a shield yet. And now I'm just going to overfarm a little bit more. I don't want to let them get to a 3rd Hydro Cannon, so I'm going for my Body Slam here. I'm hoping they think maybe this is a bigger move they should shields, but they end up letting the Body Slam go through. Good play on their part, and then I try to race them to the Body Slam. Unfortunately not able to, lose a CMP tie. Gonna let Snorlax go down, and I'm gonna bring in Garchomp to try and overfarm against the Swampert. So I have shield advantage, which is huge. That's another thing about the Snorlax safe swap when I play this team, is I try to play it in a way where even if I don't get switch advantage back, I at least have shield advantage, and that can really help me in endgame. A Metagross with a shield advantage can be a majority of the meta. So, I mean, honestly, you could probably say that about a lot of Pokemon, but Metagross specifically also. I overfarmed there. I ended up landing the Sand Tomb. I have a good chunk of energy. I'm bringing my Metagross. Great swap on my part because it saves me the shield, and my Garchomp ends up not having to take this Dragon Claw. And now we're going to see what they match me with, and they match me with a Metagross of their own. So I have shield advantage here, and you might be thinking that I want to get that last shield, but they need to save that shield. They can't let my Garchomp land an Outrage on their Dragonite, so I go for this Earthquake here, and they don't shield it. It one-shots their Metagross. So that's why, if you're wondering why they didn't shield that, is because they were worried about my Garchomp in the back against their Dragonite endgame. But because of that, now I have even more of an advantage in pulling out this win even after losing lead. I get their last shield. They're overfarming a bunch, but I'm really close to my next Meteor Mash, and thankfully fast move desync is not a thing anymore, or no, it's really not a thing anymore. So as much as I got another Bullet Punch through, they get to another Dragon Claw. I can shield both of these and comfortably get to this next Meteor Mash to take out the Dragonite and take the 4th match of the set to make this set 2-2. So thankfully, the game being fixed in that part, even though there are other issues that still need to be fixed now, but at least these things being fixed helped me pull out this match. So in that last match, I played that Dragonite lead really well, so I lost lead and ended up winning that match. This next match, I think my opponent just really plays this Dragonite lead really well, because I do the same thing, it doesn't work as well. So I swap it to my Snorlax, and they keep their Dragonite in. So I'm like, okay, by all means, leave your Dragonite in. I'm going to charge exactly up to an Outrage to make it seem like I have it, because I do have it. But I'm going to go for the Body Slam, and I'm going to try and bait this shield. Because if I swap in Snorlax, you got to know, I have Outrage, and they do shield, so that works out nicely. They're going for a charge move here. I know Snorlax can essentially tank a Dragon Claw, so I don't want to shield it in case they want to use their bigger move later and try to wipe out my Snorlax. But now they get to another Dragon Claw, and I have to shield this one just to make sure I get to the Outrage. Now, what I wasn't expecting here was my opponent to commit to the 2-shield situation. So I go for this Outrage thinking, alright, I baited them once. They're not going to commit to the 2-shield. He commits to the 2-shield, and it was a great play on his part because he ends up shielding the Outrage. His Dragonite ends up surviving because of it, and his Dragonite was able to farm down my Snorlax all the way. So now it's got a bunch of energy even though I have 1 shield. So I bring in my other Dragonite counter here, and I'm thinking because he has so much energy and so much health, he might bait. He goes straight for the big move of Hurricane. I don't shield it, which is unfortunate, and my only potential win condition here is farming down this Dragonite all the way. So now they get to another charge move, and I'm forced to use my shields on the Dragon Claw, and now I'm just gonna commit to a Bullet Punch down and hope whatever they have in the back doesn't have good play against my Metagross or my Garchomp that still has like all its health. They bring in a Gyarados, and that has very good play against both of my remaining Pokemon. So this updated Community Day Gyarados definitely gives my old team a bit of a hard time. I go for 2 Meteor Mashes here. This will put the Gyarados in the red, but honestly it didn't really matter how I played this out because once I swap in my Garchomp, they bring in their Togekiss, and this is GG. I just quit to save us both the time. But it was really well played by my opponent, because if they let my Snorlax land an Outrage and they didn't commit to the 2-shield there, and I potentially flipped switch advantage, my Metagross could have landed on their Togekiss and farmed a bunch, and then between the energy on Metagross and my Garchomp, I definitely could have beaten their Gyarados and potentially won this game. So GG's to that opponent. GG's to all my opponents, really. But that opponent specifically just made a really smart play there that I gotta give props to. So, overall, I went 2-3 with my Season 2 Masters Premier team during my first set of Season 3 Masters Premier. Does that mean this team is outdated? Not quite. I'm going to need more evidence first. If I do more sets and I'm starting to realize that I'm losing matchups that I really wasn't losing in the past, then I will definitely make the adjustments and let you guys know. What also has to be taken into consideration is this is literally my first set, and I feel like whenever we go from one league to another league throughout the season, there's always just like a slight learning adjustment and learning period, like getting your feet back on the bicycle and remembering how to pedal properly. Because each league, the Pokemon either get glassier if you're going backwards in leagues, or when you're going forwards in leagues, they get bulkier. So you just gotta relearn certain matchups and get used to certain things. And hopefully, after I do a few more sets, I'll really get in my grind with this team. But don't forget to let me know certain spice Pokemon you want me to see in Masters Premier. Because even if I do end up having more success with this team and sticking with it, I definitely want to give you as much diverse content as possible until, well, I mean, I always want to give you diverse content. But once I start making that push back to rank 10, we might have literally a new season of my rank 10 push episodes like we did last season, which I know you guys really liked. I did about like 5 or 6 of them, literally with this team. Maybe it'll be this team this season, maybe it'll be a different team. We'll find out. Other than that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys, and I will see you in the next video.